Hello, how's it going today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm Veronica, and I will be your therapist for the intake.
Great.
Um, so first, I just want to start off with something that's important, which is confidentiality, and I just want you to know that everything that you will say in here will stay in here. There's only three situations where I would have to break confidentiality, and that would be if you were in danger to yourself or others, if there was any um, expected elderly or child abuse, and if I was court ordered to share some information.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, do you have any questions regarding that?
No, I think that makes sense.
All right, sounds good. So let's just dive right in. What brings you into seek treatment?
Um, I just am pretty depressed. I just experience a lot of like depression and anxiety, kind of goes up and down, and it's been pretty bad lately. So I just am needing something to help that.
Sure, of course. So how long has this been going on for?
Probably at least like 5 years, and just
Five
kind of like
years.
up and down, and that like there's sometimes where it's maybe a little bit better, and then but I feel like it's been pretty consistent at least
Okay.
that long.
All right. I mean, that seems very frustrating for sure.
It's just kind
So,
of draining.
yeah, definitely draining. Would you say that that causes you to have some low energy?
Yeah, especially I feel like with both the depression makes me really tired, and then the anxiety just like sucks up all my energy too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What are some of the symptoms that you've been experiencing with depression and anxiety?
um I think the anxiety mostly, I just have get like really preoccupied with my thoughts. I feel like really tense with the anxiety, and sometimes I just like, get too anxious to do social things or do things with my friends or whatever. And the depression, I just start to like feel pretty bad about myself. And yeah, I get like really tired. I really sleep a lot when
Mm.
I'm super depressed. Um, and I tend to like not eat as much too when it's pretty bad. So it's like I just sleep. I don't want to do anything else. Um,
Mm-hmm.
those are the main ones that come to mind.
Okay, that sounds definitely like it impacts a lot of your life. So, when it comes to the depression symptoms, I know that you mentioned that you have been sleeping a lot. Is it ever hard to fall asleep or to stay asleep at all?
No, it's like hard to get up.
Hard to get out of bed.
Yeah.
How's your motivation? Is it kind of like totally out the window or?
Yeah, kind of. It's like I don't know if I'm ever really motivated. I can still get things done, but only because I know I have to. It's like I get too anxious about the consequences if I don't get it done. So I'll wait until the last minute and still do things. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I'm really motivated necessarily. It's mostly motivated by fear. I'm not really like excited to do any of the things I have to do.
Right, right, right. So the anxiety kind of drives the motivation, but if it wasn't for your anxiety, you probably would just stay in bed.
Yeah.
Hmm. So when it comes to these symptoms, and you said that they've been going on for 5 years, can you think back to any like 5 years ago and if like anything kind of triggered this, or did it just kind of happen?
Um, I guess like 5 years ago, I um just like finished school and started working. I think it just sort of felt like my life got smaller. Um, I'm not really sure if there's any one thing that triggered it as
Hmm.
much as just like life circumstances.
Right. So some adjustment.
hmm
Hmm. Kind of went
I
from
might
like
have
being,
been
oh, go on.
I might have been depressed before that, and it just like got worse. I'm not really sure. I think I've been depressed for a long time. I don't know.
So like looking back before the 5 years, Do you remember ever feeling any of the same symptoms you're feeling now?
Yeah, there'd be like smaller chunks of time where I would get really tired and just want to sleep or like feel unmotivated. But I think maybe when I was in school, I had more people around me who would kind of like help me feel more excited about things or that I like got more support from. I think
Right.
maybe I kind of lost that support system. I was a little
Right.
kid.
Okay. Okay. And how's your support system now?
Um, I can talk to my family a little bit. I feel like sometimes they just don't know what to do. It's like they're also a little exhausted by it.
Mhm.
So like I've kind of tried talking to my parents or my sisters about it, but they don't always really know. It seems like they just get sad for me, and then I just feel bad. Um, and I have
Mhm.
some friends, but we're not super close. They're kind of like acquaintances.
Right. Right. Do you ever feel like you might be like a burden to others?
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Especially when I'm like having a hard time.
Mhm. Right. So, with all these symptoms, do you ever feel like worthless or hopeless?
Yeah, I definitely feel worthless. I think
Mhm.
there's sometimes that I feel hopeless, but um I I don't know. I guess there's still a part of me that feels like it can't last forever, but it has
Right.
been a really long time. Or maybe I just am like maybe it's also just like it is gonna last forever, or it'll always be like this, and I just have kind of accepted it. I don't know. I
Right.
don't feel super hopeless too often.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good that there's some hope in there. With the anxiety, do you ever like feel like you excessively worry? You have, racing thoughts a lot. It kind of impairs your concentration.
Um, yeah, I have a lot of racing thoughts that are pretty distracting. Definitely affects my concentration.
Okay. Do you ever feel like you have any intrusive thoughts, like maybe thoughts of like wanting to go to sleep and not wake up, or thoughts of just wanting to die, anything like that?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, I'm never super excited about waking up, but it's like it's okay.
Right. Okay. Like you'll do it because you have to, right?
Yeah, it's just like, oh, here I am again.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I just figured out.
Right. Right. And with the depression, so does that kind of come in episodes or is it just always there?
I feel like it's kind of always there, but at like different intensities.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Sure.
there's time where it's more intense than others. It almost kind of seems like I will have like a really intense anxiety episode, and then that it's like I get so drained from that, then I have more intense depression. But the depression is always kind of there under the surface too.
Right. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. What do you have any like certain triggers that triggers your anxiety at all? And like triggers that those anxiety attacks?
Um, Definitely like social stuff, like if I have to do any kind of social things. Um, and then if there's just any like pressures of things, like money worries, like being in school, I'm always worried about money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or just like the world, like the status of the world is kind of crazy, and
Right.
thinking too much about that tends to make me pretty anxious.
Right. Definitely. When you do end up thinking about that, does it lead to maybe a panic attack, like where you feel like your heart's racing, your shortness of breath? It might even feel like a heart attack. It's hard to get under control.
Mm, I feel like I've only had like one panic attack in my life when I was at like a really stressful job, and that was like several years ago.
Okay.
Um, it's not a common thing for me to have a panic attack.
Right. Okay. Okay. And then do you ever feel like you have days where you can go days without sleeping and you might feel a little bit more impulsive, your speech might change, you might feel like you're on top of the world, like anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Sounds like it'd be a nice change.
Right. Right, definitely. Opposite from what you've been feeling, for sure.
Yeah.
Right, so I know that it's been just kind of like a constant state for the last 5 years. So would you say that your depression and anxiety is what you want to work on the most, or what are some of your goals for treatment?
Um, yeah, I guess just not being so depressed all the time. It would be nice to be able to like have some more control over like, my thoughts and
Mm.
anxiety that comes up. Like it'd be nice to be more motivated, um, and just to like be able to be happy.
Mm-hmm. Right, okay. So that those definitely seem like some realistic goals that you have for treatment, and definitely something that we can start to work on for sure. Um, a little bit more about, I guess, your background and your history. Have you ever been in therapy before?
Yeah. Mm.
Okay, when was that and how did that go?
I was in therapy a couple of other times. One of them was like 4 years ago. I went for like a couple of months and it was just kind of like, I don't know, it was fine. I wasn't sure, like, she was nice. I just wasn't sure it was really helping.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the second time was like a year ago. Um, and that time I just didn't I I didn't feel like I really connected with that therapist. I felt like some of the things that he suggested weren't as useful to me, and then I just kind of again just stopped going, kind of ghosted a little bit.
Sure, sure. I mean, it's definitely important to notice what's working and what's not, and I mean, it takes a lot to keep trying, so that's great.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that you wanted to tell me about right away for this session?
Mm,
Anything else that has been bothering you symptom-wise or anything?
um, I guess just that I feel like I also get migraines
Okay.
sometimes. It seems to somehow be related also to like the anxiety depression
Sure.
cycle. Uh, like I get a migraine and that kind of like knocks me down also.
And
So
how much does that happen?
maybe every month or two.
Is it like just like a couple hours when the migraine happens, or is it all day?
Because most of the time it's like I'll like wake up and feel it coming, and then it'll kind of like take out my whole day.
Right, right. Does that trigger your anxiety at all? Because, I mean, it's hard to do things when you have a migraine.
Yeah, it almost feels like the anxiety triggers the migraine. Like I spend so much time being anxious, and then I get a migraine, and then I'm like down for a while after that.
Right, definitely. And with your anxiety, do you ever feel like you feel more like, I guess, like on edge or frustrated or get irritated easily?
Yeah, I think
Mm.
I do. I start to feel irritable, and then I just kind of try to isolate myself because I don't want to like take it out. I would feel so bad if I took it out on anybody.
Right. Is that how you cope with your symptoms? Is kind of isolate yourself?
Um, yeah, I guess.
Hmm.
Guess so. Hmm.
Do you ever feel like you can like turn to your support system and tell them about what's going on?
I feel like I've kind of tried to in the past, and now, I might tell them like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not feeling good," and then they kind of know what that means, and we
Right.
don't talk about it that much.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said before, I think you have some very achievable goals that we can work on. And do you have any questions for me?
I don't think so.
All right, well, we will see you then in the next session.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.